ito, long-term note with reasonable interest. Okay, for a while. Okay, so long-term note with reasonable interest. Okay, so on October 1, 2021, ABC issued 2-year 1 million note in exchange for a piece of land. So principal is due on October 1, 2023. So this is a 2-year loan, but interest is due annually. Okay, so tuloy tayo. So, the journal entries would be land. So, magbe-base tayo dun sa value ng land. Value nung note payable to record your land because that is the equivalent amount of that note and it was exchanged for a land on that date. So, we will use it as the face value of the land or the cost of the land. Kasi yun yung fair value niya at that time. Paano natin nasabi na yun yung fair value? Because remember, present value is equal to fair value at the time of uh, execution ng loan. Okay, but at this time, it is issued for land. So, we can uh, we can assume na yung fair value ng land is equal dito sa dito sa 1 million na face value ng note payable. So, later on this chapter, may hierarchy kung ano yung kailangan natin sundin for non-cash issuance of notes payable. Okay, so let's start. So for December 31, yung interest niya is 30,000 computed at 12% for 3 months, which is starting from October at the time of the issuance of the notes payable. Okay, so yung accrual natin na yung computation ng accrual, no, this is not an accrual. Yes, actually accrual pala, sorry. So at October 1, ito yung accrual natin. Debit interest expense of 90,000 and credit interest payable, which is ito yung nakaset up nung year end. This is the record of accrual. This is the reversal of accrual. And this is the recognition of the current interest expense for 2022. Okay, so same entry for year end, accrual ng interest expense. Kasi kung makikita natin, principal is due on October 2023, but interest is due annually every October 1. So kaya nag-accrue tayo ng interest every year end. Okay, so one more reversal of accrual on 2023 and settlement na siya at due date. So question on illustration 2. Okay, so pala, tuloy tayo. So sa illustration 3, ito naman is long-term note with reasonable interest, which is compounded. Ito, simple interest lang to. And this one is compounded. So, ang difference lang ng compounded is yung interest na accrued on that date will be considered dun sa computation ng panibago nating interest. So, as we can see dito, makikita natin, ang initial interest niya is 120,000. Ito muna problem pala, sorry. So, note is issued on January 1, 2021, a 3-year note, 12%, 1 million note, payable in exchange for a piece of land. principal and interest are due on December 31, 2023. So meaning for 3 years, yung interest na na-incur every year, which is 12% of this 1 million note equal to 120,000 is also earning interest. So paano natin kino-compute yan? So andito siya. So interest expense for as of December 31, 2022 is a simple computation lang. Same with simple interest, 120,000. So yung difference niya is mag-start lang on second year wherein the computation of interest includes yung previous interest na accrued from previous year. So instead of 1 million as the basis ng interest, magiging 1.12 million na siya. Times 12%, which is ito na siya, 1.34. So the next year, i-add mo na yung 120 from first year and 134 for the second year. And ito na yung interest na yan for the third year. So ito yung buong interest na kailangan mong bayaran. Ito pala, sorry, 404,000. So that is the sum of 150,000 interest expense for 2023 and yung 254,000 na accrued interest from the previous 2 years. Okay, so question in illustration 3. Okay, pala, tuloy tayo sa illustration 4. So illustration 4, non-interest bearing note, lump sum. So ito naman, lump sum payment siya. So meaning hindi siya installment. So we are expected to use yung present values. Yes, ito siya. On January 1, 2021, ABC Company acquired equipment in exchange for a 100,000 cash and a 3-year non-interest bearing 1 million note payable due on January 1, 2024. So this is a 3-year note. Prevailing interest rate is 12%. Okay. So at initial measurement, kailangan nating i-compute yung present value of future cash flows. So how do we compute ba yung present value of future cash flows? So masa-search nyo naman kung paano nagko-compute ng present value factors. So you can try it yourself. Pwede nyo siyang i-ano. But madali lang naman to. Let's try na rin anyway. Wala. So nakita niyo na ba yung Excel book ko? Kita niyo na?
Yes po, sir.
Okay, kita na. So, bali, ang formula para ang formula to record yung ito. So, our formula would be 1 minus 1 plus interest rate, which is ilagay natin as I, and then raise the something raise ito. Raise to the negative n. Negative n is yung period, which is yun yung months all over R. R is okay. Okay, so let's try. So dito sa given natin, saan ba yan? Ito. Given natin, 1,000,000 yung 1,000,000 for a while. Okay, ulit tayo. So 1,000,000 yung ah ito na siya, 1,000,000 yung principal. Okay, ang interest rate natin is 1% ba to? 12%. And yung end natin is 3 years. 3 years. Okay. So let's i-try natin i-compute siya by computing 1 minus 1 plus 0.12, which is ito yung interest rate natin, and raise to negative 3. Raise to negative 3. Ito siya. Then, i-divide natin sa interest rate na 12%. No. May iba. Hindi. Hindi na ba yung tanda ako? Wait lang ah. 1 minus 1. Mhm. Hindi ito yung dapat natin ilagay dito. Dito yun. Okay. Hindi na siya maalala. Present value of ordinary annuity. Okay, balikan natin yan. Limot ko na. Sige, yan. Baka naalala mo Miss Campo sa ano. Sige, please discuss. Yung...
Sir,
Mhm.
sir, na-try ko po sa Excel ko po. Yung
Mhm.
ginamit ko pong equation is yung 1 plus interest rate po, tapos raised to negative 3 po.
Oo, kasi simple interest lang pala siya, ano. Sige, sige. Ginagamit ko is ano, yung yung present value of uh, hindi siya future, present value of ordinary annuity. So, bali yung ginamit ko is kailangan siya kapag may ina-expect ka na future cash flows, which is uh, dumarating siya on equal amount every year. So, since saan na ba yun? Delete ko na sorry. Ang ginamit lang para natin is yung nasa loob ng equation, which is yung 1 plus interest raised to negative n. So, yun lang. Tama ka. Sorry, nalimutan ko na. So, thank you. So, let's proceed. So, since may idea naman kayo, ituloy nyo na lang yung anong yun, yung formula na yun. And babalikan ko kayo dyan. Magre-review lang ako. Okay. So, present value of note. So, mako-compute siya using yung ginamit na formula na binigay ni Miss Camposano. Okay. So, we will use that present value to sa equipment para ma-record natin siya. Net of the discount. Okay. So, how do we compute the discount? So, simply, discount is the difference between dun sa present value ng equipment, which is present value of note, plus minus dun sa face amount niya. So, ganun lang siya. Yung difference lang ng dalawa. Okay. So, dito naman sa example natin ng amortization table, which is using the effective interest method, yung discount on note payable is equal dun sa total interest expense niya at the end nung note payable or at maturity date niya. Okay. So, ang purpose lang natin kung bakit natin siya na ipe-present using this effective interest method is to accurately compute yung interest niya based dun sa discount that we have computed based naman dun sa effective or dun sa stated rate, sa market rate niya, which is yung effective rate niya. Okay? So, saan natin na-compute yung 85,414? So, simply by multiplying ito, yung present value niya, dun sa effective interest rate niya, which is yung 12%. So, makikita niyo man yung computation niya dito sa baba. Okay? So, now, we are arrived on these figures. So, saan naman natin nakuha yung 202,000? So, this 202,000 is yung difference nung carrying amount ng discount on note payable deducted dun sa interest expense incurred for 2021. So, ito na yung bagong carrying amount ng discount on note payable at 2021. And ito naman yung present value and carrying amount din nung notes payable natin per books. Okay, so same goes on for 2022 and 2023 hanggang sa ma-close na natin yung discount. And at the time of settlement, which is December 31, 2023, yung note natin is at present value na. Okay? So, sir, paano naman yung equipment? Naiwan siya as 811,000 lang. Hindi ba natin dapat siya ilagay din as 1 million? The answer is no. Bakit? Kasi the fact na that the equipment is exchanged for note payable in 3 years after the start nung loan execution with interest of 12% every year, meaning yun yung fair value niya. Okay? So again, ulitin natin, sa point of view ni seller or ni seller, this is the fair value ng kanyang asset na binibenta, which is yung equipment. Ito yung fair value niya. Okay? That's why tinanggap niya yung 1 million 3-year notes payable. Okay, sa part naman ni buyer, which is yung nag-issue ng notes payable, for this example, siya rin yung debtor. Ito naman yung present value ng notes payable niya na 1 million. So meaning, over time, magbabayad siya ng interest. Okay? Kasi, remember, in-issue niya yung 1 million na notes payable niya in exchange dun sa equipment na meron lamang fair value na 811,000. So, to account for the difference, so magre-record tayo ng discount on note payable, which is should be amortized over the life of the note payable. So that hindi mo siya i-record yung buong difference na to, which is yung 288,000 on the third year, which obviously violates the principle of the matching of revenue and expense principle. Okay? So question. So kung paano computing to, magre-review muna ako kasi kalimutan ko na talaga siya actually. Kala ko alam ko pa, kalimutan ko na pala. So yun yung computation ng ordinary annuity. Okay? Ito lang siya. So present value pala. When we say annuity, there is annual payments. Let's say 100,000 for 3 years. So that is 300,000, di ba? 1,000 na yun yung hahanapan natin ng present values. So yung formula na ginamit ko kanina, para yun dun sa present value of ordinary annuity. Okay. So no question, tuloy tayo. Note interest, sorry, wala. Non-interest bearing note installment. So ito naman, again. So on January 1, 2021, ABC acquired equipment in exchange for 100,000 cash and 4-year non-interest bearing 1 million note due on 4 equal annual statements installments starting December 31. The prevailing rate is 12%. Tuloy tayo. Ito na yung sinasabi natin. So the future cash flows is 250,000 and multiplied by the present value of ordinary annuity, which is 1 pesos. No, sorry. Yes, the present value of 1 at 12% for 4 years. So ito na yon. So meaning yung 250,000, which is supposed to be 1 million ang total niya for 4 years. Tama, di ba? So 250 times 4 is 1 million. But as of January 1, 2021, ang present value lang niya is 759,337. So that is the difference ng dalawa. Yung isa is present value of single payment transaction, while this one is used sa present value naman ng ordinary annuity, which is there is an annual amount, annual installments paid. Annual equal installments. But yes, for this example, equal siya. But I think merong example dito na hindi dapat equal. Well, anyway, tingnan natin. Okay, so to record, 859,000. So, bakit? I-add natin yung 100K na cash na ibinigay niya. Ito siya. Okay. Discount on notes payable is the difference between yung 1 million note and yung present value niya, which is ito. So, same goes on. Okay, so payments is 250,000 every year. And interest expense is computed again by multiplying yung present value niya dun sa rate na 12%. And the difference between the payments and interest expense is the amortization. So this amount should be deducted dun sa present value niya. Okay? Para uh, recognize na natin yung paid portion nung serial note. We call it serial note kasi note due on installments. Okay. So same goes on. 600,000 multiplied by 12%. So ang interest expense for 2022 is this amount, 72,000. I-less natin yung payments na 250 and then the amortization should be 177, which would be deducted sa carrying amount ng note until maging zero na siya. Okay. Okay. So ito yung mga computations niya. Okay, so current and non-current portion of the note payable. So again, whenever we say current and non-current, current portion ng notes payable is the amount expected to be settled within 12 months. So for this, in this case, as of December 31, 2021, the current portion is itong amortization na 177,000 payable on the note, the payable, which is the amount payable within the year. So itong amount na to, yung present value niya as of December 31, ito na yung non-current payable niya for this year, 2021. So again, for 2021, ang current is ito kasi ito yung expected to be settled within 2022. Okay? But this amount is not expected to be settled by 2022. That's why ito yung non-current portion niya. So kung i-add mo yung dalawang yan, ang total niyan is ito, 600,000. Okay? So when disclosing in the financial statements, the discount on note payable is allocated to both current and non-current portion of the note by deducting the present value of the portion from its related future cash payments. So itong 72,000, ito yung sa current portion, and the rest, ito yun, yung difference. Okay? Yung sa dalawang next installment, which is 500,000, and yung non-current portion niya, yun yung discount on notes payable or the non-current liability or the non-current portion nung notes payable. Okay, question regarding sa presentation niya. And whenever pag tinatanong yung carrying amount ng note payable, wag niyo ihiwalay yung discount. Kasi lagi siyang kasama sa computation ng carrying amount of notes. And same goes for bonds. If magko-compute kayo ng carrying amount ng bonds payable, huwag niyo kakalimutan yung discount and premium sa bonds. So it's either an contra or an adjunct account. Okay. Next is an non-interest bearing note installment in advance. So this time naman, di ba dito sa example natin, ito. So on January 1, 2020, ito, example. On January 1, 2021, nag-start mag-accrue yung interest. Di ba? So, the interest is payable every December 31, which is equal din naman dun sa, or same din dun sa annual installments niya. So, meaning, on January 1, 2021, naka-receive ka ng note, And by December 31, 2021, makakatanggap ka ng unang payment mo on installment. Okay? However, dito sa example natin na to, installment is paid in advance. So meaning, on January 1, 2021, naka-receive ka na rin ng 250,000. So the first installment is due on January 1, 2021. So the same day na nag-execute kayo ng notes payable or nagkaroon kayo ng transaction which involves notes payable, nakatanggap ka na rin ng unang payment. So this is a different computation naman. Diba? Instead na present value no ordinary annuity, yung kukumpute natin, we will now compute on present value of annuity due. Okay, so yun yung difference niya. Remember, we use the computation, saan ba yun? Ito. So we use the present value of an ordinary annuity. However, dito sa advance payment, ang gagamitin natin is present value of an annuity due or installment paid in advance. So this is used rarely. Birang-bira ito magamit. Kaya di ako familiar kung paano kinocompute siya masyado. But masa-search nyo naman siya and there are tables na nakalagay naman kung ilang percent, kung ano yung mga present value factors niya at this rate and this period. And you can learn naman kung paano kumputin to. Okay, so yun yung difference ng usage ng dalawa. For ordinary annuity, the installment payment is at the end of the year, given that the note payable is issued at the start of the year. However, sa annuity due naman, kung kailan na-i-issue sa'yo yung note, doon ka rin sa date na yun, makakatanggap ng first installment. So that is only the difference. Okay, same computation. I-add natin yung 100,000 na cash consideration na natanggap para ma-compute natin yung value ng equipment, which is 950,000. And the difference is the discount. So difference between yung present value ng note and yung face amount niya. And at the same time, same day, magre-record ka rin ng first installment. Okay, so paano i-compute yung interest? So on the first year, wala kang i-record na interest. Why? Kasi technically, bayad na siya. Okay? Remember that the installment in advance is paid at the first day. So, yung interest niya is considered to be paid for the whole year. Mag-i-start ka na mag-accrue ng interest for second year na. Okay? So, kung tataka kayo dito, Sir, December 31, 2021, may interest na. Okay? So, mag-accrue lang siya at December 31, but again, it is payable on January 1, 2022, which is hindi nakalagay dito. So, accrual lang to ng interest expense, but it should be actually paid on January 1, 2022. Pero sir, bakit sa December 31 pa rin siya nakalagay? So meaning kasama siya sa December 31 books. Yes, tama yun. Again, ang sabi ko sa inyo, interest expense is recorded to match yung revenue and expenses for the year. So kung hindi ka magre-recognize ng interest expense sa December 2021 books, so hindi magmamatch yung interest na ni-record mo dun sa benefit na natanggap mo by using that equipment. Okay? But the payment of this interest will be done on January 1, 2021 and not at the time when it is accrued. Yun yung difference niya kay ordinary annuity. Okay? So, hindi dahil naka-accrue siya sa December 31, 2021, ito rin yung time na babayaran siya. Hindi, babayaran siya on the next day, the very next day. January 1, 2022, which is included sa second payment niya. Ito siya, first installment is January 1, 2021. So the next would be January 1, 2022. Okay. Question. Okay, if wala, then tuloy tayo. 6.1. Installment due at the start of each year. Parang ito rin naman yun. But assume that the succeeding installment payment are due every January 1. Huh? Okay. The succeeding installment payments are due every December 31. Yun yung sabi pala dito. But anyway, kailangan mo pa rin mag-accrue. Same lang yan. Mag-accrue din siya dito. December 31. But it is paid on uh, January 1, 2022. Okay? And as you can see, same amount lang naman siya. Okay. Next. Carrying amount of note payable as of December 31, 2021. So you had to add back yung payment ng January 1, 2022. So technically, as of December 31, 2021, hindi pa siya bayad. Diba? Kailangan yung i-add back yung 250,000. So, yun lang. For us to compute yung carrying amount niya as of December 31, 2021. Okay, so next, illustration 7, non-interest bearing notes, semi-annual installments. So this time naman, babayaran siya ng interest, ng installments twice a year. So sa ganitong mga semi-annual payments, actually, ang magiging period natin is twice as much every year. So meaning kung 3 years to, our periods will be 6 since it is payable on a semi-annual basis. So 3 year times twice a year is 6. Okay, so 6. Tama. So 6 na yung magiging period natin. Discounting semi-annual cash flows. So when discounting semi-annual cash flows, the end the end period used in the present value is multiplied by 2 because there are 2 semi-annual payments installment per year. Furthermore, the effective interest rate is divided by 2 because interest rates are normally expressed on a per annum basis. Okay. Unless stated na yung interest is semi-annual, you have to divide yung effective interest rate by 2. Okay? So initial measurement, future cash flows of semi-annual installments, 1.2 divided by 6, which is 200,000. So ito yun. Ito tayo. The amount of note is 1.2 M payable on 3 year on a semi-annual basis. So we will divide 8 by 6 para makuha natin yung semi-annual equal payments na 200,000. Multiplied by present value of the ordinary annuity. Again, we will use ordinary annuity because we will pay it on the interest dates. Hindi siya paid in advance. So, ito yung present value niya. Then, the present value of future cash flows amounting to 1.2 M is 1,015,138. Okay, same computation, present value amortization. Di kita. Ano ba yan? Okay, so 200,000, 1.015138 multiplied by 10 divided by 2, which is 5%. Then yung interest expense should be 50,757. And we will deduct it dun sa kanyang periodic payments, 200,000. And the amortization for the first half is 149, which will be deducted dun sa present value nung notes natin. The same computation until ma-close na natin and ma-fully amortize na natin yung discount. Okay. So, huwag kayong malilito using these examples. Okay, using these examples, magkano yung interest, magkano yung mare-record natin na interest payable? Okay, ulitin ko yung tanong. Ang sabi dito, interest payments, non-interest bearing note payable due in equal and semi-annual. The prevailing rate is 10%. So whenever we say na interest expense, so yung interest expense will be based on the present value. Okay? Magbe-base siya sa present value. Since non-interest bearing kasi to, so walang ini-state dito na interest payable. So sana sa mga susunod na example is meron ng interest bearing note. But I think wala. Okay. Okay. So, huwag kayong malilito sa interest expense and interest payable. Magkaiba yun. So, again, for interest-bearing notes, hindi sa mga non-interest for interest-bearing notes, which is, ang interest is payable on annual basis. Example, interest is 10%. Example like stated rate to. This is an interest-bearing note with a stated rate of 10%. Example. So, ang interest payable should be 10% of 1.2 M per year. So, the interest payable is 120,000. Tama? Tama ba?
Sir, paulit nga po ulit.
Okay. So, 10% times 1.2, which is, ito yung, for example, interest-bearing note siya. 10% is stated rate multiplied by 1.2 M. Magkano yung interest payable niya? Or gawin na natin ng Excel table. Okay, for a while. Okay, again, nakita nyo ba? Nakita nyo? Ano ba yung Excel?
Yes po.
Okay. So, for interest-bearing notes, kasi ganito yung approach ko sa exam. Na-familiarize ko lang kayo, baka malito kayo. Sa interest-bearing notes, dalawa yung usual na tanong dyan. How much is the interest payable? And how much is the interest expense? Remember, magkaiba yan. Actually, for interest-bearing notes, which was computed and maintained subsequently using the amortized cost. So, let's say, kunin natin yung example dito na 3 years, 3 years, and the amount of note is 1 million, and the stated rate of 10%. So, yung period, yung face amount, and ito yung stated rate. Okay, so for us to compute magkano yung interest payable, kailangan natin computein yung present value niya. So, again, ang present value niya is 1. I will try, tama na ako. 1 plus 1 raised to negative 3. I think tama na ako, di ba? Tama na ba ako, Miss
Yes po.
Campusano? Okay, so tama na ako. Okay, so ito yung present value niya. Present value ng note for 3 years. So, ito yung date. Let's say 2021, 2022, 2023. So, at 2021, ito yung interest payable, ito yung interest expense, yung amortization, then ito yung amount. Yan. So, gawin natin ang table para mas malinis tingnan. And so, for 2021, ang sabi, example natin, magkano yung interest payable? So, again, interest payable is computed by multiplying ito, yung face amount, multiplied dun sa stated rate niya. Meaning, interest payable natin is 100,000. Okay. Ang interest expense naman natin is computed. Wait, baba natin to. So, interest expense is computed by multiplying yung carrying amount sa kanyang effective rate. So, gawin natin. Lagyan natin ng 12% effective rate. Ay, wag na. Gugulo. Okay na yan. So, ang carrying amount natin is, paano natin makakompute ang carrying amount? This one, yung face by multiplying dun sa present value factor niya. 751,314. So, makakompute naman natin yung interest expense by multiplying ito by rate. So, ang amortization natin would be interest payable less this one. So, diba? Nakasunod ba? Hello?
Opo.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, nakasunod. So, kapag sinabi ko or sa question ko, how much is the interest payable? So, ang interest payable na tinutukoy ko dito is ito. Base siya sa stated rate or sa kung magkano yung mandatory bayaran ni debtor na interest. Ito yung interest payable. But whenever I ask for interest expense, ang tinutukoy ko dito is magkano yung interest expense na mare-record for the year. Like this one, sa computation natin. Based dito sa present value niya multiplied by the effective rate, which is in this example, same with the stated rate, ito yung interest expense niya. And ito naman yung interest payable based dun sa face amount with 10% stated rate. So, nag-gets nyo yung difference nila? So, this is, halimbawa, for 2021, Anong entry nito? Interest payable. Anyone? Okay, so ang entry niyan is debit, interest expense, and credit, cash. Oh, masyadong malaki. So, BR, interest expense, and magka-credit ka ng cash. So, yan yung entry. Both at 100,000. And for 2021, ang magiging entry naman natin for the amortization would be debit, discount on notes payable amounting to this amount, and CR or credit, interest expense. Amounting naman sa dito din. So what is the effect? So what is the effect? Kung i-summarize natin siya sa trial balance, you had a debit of 100,000. Meron ka namang credit na 24,000 sa interest expense. So kung i-deduct natin yan, yung interest expense na recorded for the year. So meaning, actually paid interest is 100,000, but the recorded amount is 75,000 lang due to the amortization of the discount and the premium on notes payable. So yan yung common misconception sa dalawang ito. So, magkaiba yan. Okay? Magkaiba silang dalawa. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so if wala na, then let's proceed na. Okay, so let's continue. Ito na, so same ano lang, same given sa taas, dito, sa presentation. Okay, so annual amount of installment is, so ito na yung next example natin, illustration 8, yung sinasabi ko kanina with, ito yung non-interest note with non-uniform installment. So mag-iiba yung installment niya per year. So hindi mo siya pwedeng computan ng annuity. Kasi, bakit? Again, ordinary annuity works only if the amount or the future cash flows is expected to be uniform. Pare-parehas siya. Annual equal installments. Yun yung definition niya. So in this case, hindi natin siya makukomputan ng present value using ordinary annuity. So what we will do is, kukomputan natin siya ng separate present value using the simple present value factors. Yung formula na tinuro sa akin ni Ms. Camposano, yun yung gagamitin natin. So how? Using her formula na 1 plus interest rate raised to the negative period. So makocompute nyo na siya. Ganyan. Okay? Ay, sobra pala ako ng ano. Ayan, ganito lang pala yan. So this is using yung simple natin, computation natin. But for this one, this is payable in advance naman. So magkaiba yung gagamitin natin na table. So this one, sa una, mag-a-apply na agad tayo ng present value factor. But on the second one, hindi. Kasi the installment is payable in advance. So meaning, present value is equal to its fair value. So, walang present value na mare-recognize sa first installment. Unlike sa ordinary annuity in which kailangan mo siyang computan since it is 1 year before niya bayaran. Remember, nag-start yung interest period ng 2021 and babayaran lang siya ng December 31. While sa advance payment, on the day na nag-start yung interest period, binayaran agad siya. So, the present value is equal dun sa cash flow at that day. Okay? Walang question? Sir, pwede po pa-send ng... Ala, hindi ko na-save. Sorry. Sorry, hindi ko na-save yung Excel file. So, Patricia Francis Cubisado to marunong po sila ng internet. Okay lang, recorded naman to, di ba? So, once available na siya, since hindi ako nag-record, pa-share na lang nung ano. Kasi pupunta yung recording dun sa email nung nag-record. So, pa-share na lang sa classroom para ano. Okay, so next is illustration 9. Non-interest bearing note with cash price equivalent. So, start tayo. On January 1, 2021, ABC Company issued a 3-year note amounting to 1.4, roughly 1.4 M non-interest bearing note in exchange for inventory with a list price of 1. Or let's say 1.3 M and a cash price of 1 M. So the note payable is recorded as followed. So inventory is 1 million, which is recorded at its cash price. And debit discount on notes payable, which is 404,928. And notes payable, 1.4 M. So the list price is ignored because it is irrelevant. The difference between actually I don't know what is list price, but I think siguro ito yung price na may markup na. Hindi ako familiar kung ano yung list price na to. But given that it is ignored, so irrelevant daw siya. The difference between 1.4 and the face amount of 1 M is the cash price equivalent, which is yun yung ginamit natin because it is available. On our previous example, on which ginamit natin yung present values nila, example for land, saan ba yun? Ito, example for land and equipment, na ginamit natin yung present value ng notes, wala kasing in-state dito na determined na price ng equipment. So, whenever available na yung price or the clearly determinable or accurately determinable yung fair value or yung cash price ng equipment or ng land, then siya yung priority na gamitin. Okay? Next, if hindi talaga available, ang gagamitin is yung present value ng liability. Yun yung hierarchy, huwag yung kakalimutan yun. And lastly, if hindi rin talaga available yung present value, hindi rin clearly identified kung ano yung market rate for that kind of note, then ang gagamitin na is yung face value ng financial liability, in this case, yung notes payable. So yun yung hierarchy na susundin. First, if there is a determined cash price or fair value ng asset na ipapalit. Second, in the absence of the first one, is yung present value ng liability given na available and reliably measured yung interest rate ng notes na yun. And lastly, if hindi available, then we will use yung face value niya. Okay. So, nasa example 9 na tayo. Saan ba yun? Example 9. Okay. So, in this case, ginamit natin yung 1M kasi available siya. Okay? Available yung cash price nung inventory. So, okay, gagawa natin siya ng amortization table. And to apply the effective interest method, we need the effective interest, which the problem did not state. However, the effective interest rate is defined as the rate that exactly discounts the future cash flows to the carrying amount of the note. So we can translate this definition into the following equation. So future cash flows times present value factor is equal to its present value. So ang ginawa niya is nag-derive siya. Since available naman yung future cash flows, which is same dun sa present value niya na 1 million or ito yung future cash flows, di ba? Kasi ito yung face value nung note. Ito yung total nung future cash flows. So, future cash flows multiplied by PV factor is equal to present value, in which ang ginamit natin na present value is yung cash price ng inventory kasi available siya based dito sa ating example. But remember, do sa mga previous na example natin, hindi available yung cash price. That's why nag-compute tayo ng present value factor since given naman yung future cash flows, which is ito yung 1 million payable in 3 or payable in 3 years with semi-annual payments. So, available naman siya. But in this case, hindi kasi available yung present value factor, which is hindi given sa example, di ba? Wala nakalagay since non-interest bearing siya. So, since pag given yan, makakompute natin to. Given yung present value, given yung future cash flows. So, gagamitan mo siya ng trial and error approach. So, ang tawag dito is interpolation. Hindi ko alam kung ano yung tawag ni Milan dito. But, ang tawag ni Valix dito is interpolation. Okay? So, we will squeeze. So, paborito natin yan sa trial balance. Diba? Sa T-accounts, mag-i-squeeze for the effective interest rate in the equation above using the trial and error approach. So to do it, we will initially use the random interest rate. So technically, kukuha ka ng range kung saan pasok yung magiging present value is 1 million. So first na ginamit niya is at 10%. So upon computation, ito yung nakuha niya. 1.055, which is ginamit niya yung present value factor of 1 at 10% for 3 periods. So, multiply niya sa present value factor, ito yung na-compute niya. So, since hindi pa siya nagtali sa 1M, medyo mataas pa siya, kailangan pa niyang babaan yung present value. And therefore, kailangan pa niyang taasan yung effective interest rate. So, in this case, ginamit naman niya is 12%. So, kunwari, nagkataon lang na 1M, but obvious naman sa problem na pre-computed to. So, tinry niya yung 12% and hopefully, nagtali. So, ang effective interest rate niya is 12%. But, this very unusual or unlikely na nakakuha ka ng exact amount. Especially if you are using the interpolation approach. Kailangan mo siyang gawan ng formula which is sana nandito. If wala, i-share ko yung formula na ginagamit ni Valix para dito. Okay? So, since available na yung effective interest rate na 12%, then pwede na natin siyang gawa ng amortization table, which is correct kasi nagtali siya dun sa 1 million niya. Ito. Okay. Next is illustration 10. A long-term note issued solely or cash. So cash proceeds is equal to present value of note. Okay, bakit? Remember dun sa law, dun sa batas natin na future value of, sorry, fair value of the liability is equal sa present value, no, mali. Present value ng liability or the present value of note is always equal dun sa fair value nung consideration na matatanggap mo. So in this case, cash, then wala namang fair value ang cash kasi it's always measured at face value. So that is considered to be the present value of the note. So the proceeds received from the note is 711,780. Then that is also the present value of the note. Okay, so kung makikita natin, cash at 711,000 and the difference between the face value and the cash consideration, yun yung magiging discount. Okay, so I guess kailangan kong ilagay siya. Wait lang. Ayan. Sana kita nyo na. Hindi talaga kita. Nakakainis. Ay. Hindi siya kita. So anyway, mo na. Tuloy tayo. Okay, case number 2, proceeds is equal to face amount of note. So the proceeds received from the note is 1 million equal to the face amount. So note that the note is also measured at the present value of 711,780. However, because the proceeds are equal to face amount rather than the present value, which usually the case in real life transaction, day one difference arises. So the entry that follows is the entry is as follows. So cash is 1 million and discount on note payable is 288 and note payable is 1 million. Then the unrealized gain on day one difference is 288, 220. So actually, hindi ako familiar sa day one na to. But as it turns out, this day one difference is again recognizes para ma-account natin yung sobra or yung excess dun sa natanggap natin ng consideration on top dun sa present value niya. So this is not considered to be a premium but a gain. So this gain is immediately close sa profit and loss. Makikita natin. Unlike kay premium na hindi natin siya nai-close kay P&L but amortize natin siya over the life nung note. So this day one difference is part of P&L, and this one would be amortized over the life of or over the term of the note. Okay, so nagtanong siguro kayo, sir, paano yan, para natin i-close yung dalawa? So simple lang, pagbabanggain lang natin siya. So debit notes payable, no, magde-debit ka ng interest expense, then magke-credit ka ng discount on notes payable para ma-close natin to. And this one will not be touched anymore. Directly recorded na siya sa P&L as part of the income statement. Okay? So, tuloy tayo. Illustration 11. So, note with below market interest rate. On January 1, 2021, ABC Company issued 3-year 3% 1 million note payable in exchange for a machine. So, the principal is due on January 1, 2024. So, this is for 3 years. Interest is due annually every January 1. The prevailing interest rate for this type of note is 12%. Okay, so tuloy tayo. To compute for the present value of the note, the future cash flows are first identified, then multiplied by the present value factors. So una, ang principal is payable on 3 years. That's why kinumpitan natin siya ng present value based dun sa rate niya and dun sa period on which it will be paid. For interest naman, as we can see, interest is due annually every January 1. So meaning you will be receiving 3% interest every year on which kailangan natin kumpitan ng present value factors para makuha natin yung present value ng interest. For this case, ang present value niya is 2.4 for 3 years. So, multiply lang natin. Then, the present value of cash flows for this note is 783,835. Okay, so subsequent measurements, same lang, using effective interest method. Ito, i-multiply lang natin sa interest rate niya na 12%. And until ma-fully, natin siya, amortize to 1 million. Okay, so ito yung mga entries. Initial recognition, recognition of, ito. As you can see, interest payable is only 30,000, but ang interest expense is 94,000. So, wag kayo malilito. This two is different. Magkaiba yan. So, whenever I ask for interest expense, you should base at the effective rate, which is 12%. And if I'm asking for the interest payable naman, then you should be base the computation on the stated rate, which is ito, 3%. Okay. Interest payable is computed by multiplying the nominal rate, which is also the stated, and the coupon rate to the face amount. Interest expense is computed by multiplying the effective interest rate sa present value niya. Okay. Discount amortization increases the interest expense recognized each period. Total interest expense over the life of note is greater than the actual payments or interest. Yes, kasi mas malaki yung effective interest mo. That's why you will incur more interest expense compared dun sa actual payment mo for interest. So example natin, kung makikita nyo, interest expense natin is 94,000. However, yung interest payable or yung actual cash payment is 30,000 lang. So that is the consequence of issuing a note below the stated or below the market rate. Okay. Okay. So next is loan payable. So for loans, this is very similar kay note payable. But the problem is wala siyang kagaya ni notes payable na may note na may actual promissory note. Sorry. So let's check. Loans payable is similar to note payable, yes. It is also supported by a formal promise to pay a certain money to specific future date. However, the term loans payable cannot be used to connote bank loans, can be used to connote bank loans and similar types of financing. So dito, ginagamit niya yung loans payable, especially for bank loans. Okay? So loans are generally issued by the banks. So kapag kasi nag-loan ka sa tao, that is usually considered to be a note payable. At least for corporate usage, Kasi bihira yung isang company is naglo-loan sa tao. So napakabihira nun. Usually sa mga bangko lang using loans payable. Okay. So loans are accounted for similar to notes payable. However, loans transactions normally involve transaction costs. Yes. And recall that financial liabilities are initially recognized at fair value minus transaction costs. So the transaction costs are incremental costs that are directly attributable to the acquisition, issue, or disposal of a financial asset or financial liability. So an incremental cost, so this is also the same dun sa nakalagay na incidental costs dun sa pinakita ko sa inyo na amortization table. So this is also the same sa incidental costs. Yun lang yan. So transaction costs include fees, commissions to agents, levies by the regulatory agencies. So ito yung documentary stamp tax and yung notarial fee na binayaran natin sa mga dealers. Yes, sa dealers binabayaran yung notarial and documentary stamps fee. Origination fees. So origination fee is an upfront fee charged by lender to cover the cost of processing the loan, financial conditions, evaluating and recording guarantees, collateral and other security arrangement, negotiating the terms of the instrument, and so on. Just to wrap it up, origination fees are everything that would be expensed in the course of obtaining the loan. So these origination fees are deducted when measuring the carrying amount of a loan payable. Origination fees are subsequently amortized using the effective interest method. So paano ba natin siya nade-deduct sa carrying amount? So nade-deduct natin siya in the carrying amount by adding it sa discount on notes payable. Ito siya. Okay. So ang principal amount niya is 1 million and the origination fee is considered to be the discount on loans payable, sorry. So if a financial instrument's carrying amount is less than its face amount, then there is a discount. Alam naman natin to. And if the carrying amount is greater sa face amount, then the difference is a premium. So, lagi niyong tatandaan na if the nominal rate is less than the effective interest rate, then there is always a discount. However, if the other way around, the nominal rate is higher sa effective interest rate, then the issuance of notes and loans payable are considered to be in premium. Okay, so ito siya. Discount if the carrying amount is less than the face amount and the carrying amount is greater than the face amount if issued with a premium. Ito, when discount effective interest rate is higher sa nominal rate, meaning mas malaki yung interest rate na actually na-incur mo compared dun sa nominal rate or dun sa stated sa or stated dun sa ating contract. So like kanina sa pinakita ko sa inyo, there is a discount on notes, there is a discount on loan for lease agreement namin kasi mas mababa yung nominal rate kumpara sa effective interest rate. That's why we are incurring higher interest. Okay, so there is no discount or premium if the carrying amount is equal to the face amount. Consequently, the effective interest rate is also equal sa nominal rate. So continuing the illustration, we know that the loan is issued at a discount because the initial carrying amount of 970,000 is less than the face amount of 1 million. Therefore, the effective interest rate must be higher sa nominal rate Kasi the loan is issued at a discount. So, it is obvious na mas malaki yung effective interest rate. So, how to compute first trial? Again, we will be using the interpolation method. However, Milan is calling it trial and error, which is, I think, the same naman. So, first trial, ginamit niya is 11%, and he computed 975,562, which is not equal to 970. So, since 970 yung present value niya, and we computed 975,000 using 11%, we need to go higher. So, in this time, gagamitin naman niya is 12%. And na-compute niya is 951,963. So, definitely, yung effective interest is between 11 and 12% because 11 is 975, higher than 970, but for 12%, it is 951, which is lower sa 970 naman. So, pasok na siya. So, it is within 11 to 12. And looking at the values derived above, we can reasonably expect that the effective interest is between 11 and 12 approximated rate. We need to perform, ito pala, interpolation. Andito pala siya. So, yun din yung tawag ni Milan sa method na to, which is interpolation. So, X%, which is ito yung hinahanap natin, minus 11, and 12 minus 11%. So, kukunin lang natin yung mga present values na naman compute natin using these rates. Then, ang missing is 970 minus 11%, 975, and sa baba is 12%. So, ang ratio ng dalawa is 23.57. So, therefore, ang ating effective interest rate is 11.2357%. Okay, so that is how interpolation works. Kapag kailangan mo recompute ng interest rate. Illustration 2, amount of loan amortization, equal month-end payments, effective rate is 12%. So, future cash flows times present value factors. So, ito siya. Ang future cash flows niya is 2 million at 12 periods, which ang present value factor niya is 11.2550775, which is equal to 12 million. So, kailangan nating hanapin yung sorry. Okay, so ang first monthly payment natin would be 177,695.58. So, saan natin nakuha tong amount na to? So, nakuha natin siya by by dividing itong dalawa na to. Since future cash flows is missing dito, then if it is multiplied by the present value factor of ordinary annuity of by 12, magiging 2 million siya. So, naiano lang siya. Nai-squeeze. Parang using this formula. I-derive lang natin siya para makuha natin yung future cash flows. So, future cash flows multiply by the number of payments on the loan, which is 12. And then, total cash payments is this amount against the present value of loan on initial recognition of 2 million, which is ito yung face amount. Ito pala, ito yung cash price. So, the total interest expense is 132,371 using yung 10%. Actually, 1% lang nakalagay. Actually, 1%. Yes, 1%. Payable monthly siya. Okay. Oh, 2 p.m. na pala. Bilis ah. Ay, ano ba to? Almost 10 na pala tayo. So, okay. So, Tuloy na tayo sa susunod. Cost of bank loans. So, same process lang. Gagamitan din natin siya ng interpolation dito. Secured loans. So, for secured loans, ito yung tinatawag natin na loans secured by collateral. So, usually, ang legal rate natin dito is 12%. So, there are two types of secured loans. One that is secured by a mortgage, which is a real property. So, mortgage loan is secured by a real property, and the other one is chattel mortgage, which is secured by a personal property, which is usually pinaka ginagamit is car. Ito yung pinaka collateral sa chattel mortgage. Assets such as inventories, cash surrender value, receivables, cash in bank, and investments in securities can also be used as collateral for security for loans. But ang pinaka-usual is ito, car. Okay? So, fixed and variable interest loans. Fixed interest loan is one where the interest charges are based on a fixed rate from the word itself, and variable interest loan is where the interest charges vary as market interest rates change. So, ang example nung variable interest loan, usually given siya sa isang kontrata through escalation clause. So, I think ma-encounter niyan sa law on credit sales and bailments. Ano siya, yung escalation clause. So, it states that every year there is an increase in interest rate that will be used sa kontrata. Okay, so unlike fixed interest loan, wherein sa mga bangko, usually, ano yan, fixed, like kung anong month ka nag-apply na loan at yung prevailing rate nila is 10%, then throughout the life of the loan or the term of the loan, yun yung gagamitin mo. Ang best example ng variable interest loan natin is yung sa pag-ibig loans. So, pag-ibig loans usually babago yan every year, which is nagre-recompute sila every year. Pagbabago yung interest rate nila, and that is one example of variable interest loan. Aside from sa sinabi ko kanina na escalation clause. Okay? So, next is credit lines. So, for credit lines, ito naman yung ibinibigay ng bangko, or basahin natin. Some loans are obtained through pre-arranged credit lines. So, a credit line is arrangement between financial institutions, which is obviously a bank, and the borrower that establishes the maximum amount of loan or the credit limit that the borrower can obtain. So, ang pinaka-exposure natin dito is yung mga credit cards. So, for credit cards, credit lines usually is the maximum limit na pwede mong swipe gamit yung card mo. So, anything in excess would be denied, and on top of that, mag-i-incur ka pa ng over-limit fee. Okay, so yun lang yung credit line. So, for credit card, yes, same application lang. So, debit card, alam naman natin, ito yung mga ATMs na kung ano lang yung laman, siya lang yung pwede mong ma-withdraw. Unlike credit cards na kahit hindi mo pa siya pera or hindi mo siya na-earn, pwede mo na siyang may spend using these credit lines or these credit limits. Okay. Commercial paper. So, commercial paper consists of short-term, usually 270 days or less. So, actually, on the actual practice, it is considered to be a short-term liquid commercial paper if it is can be convertible to cash within 90 days. Okay? So, ang tawag dun is liquid assets. Sila yung mga quick assets, liquid assets. Mabilis ma-convert to cash. However, if tumagal na siya ng 180 or almost 60 days na siya, or 6 months, almost 6 months na siya, bago ma-encash, then we don't recognize it anymore as quick assets. We recognize it as current asset na. Okay? So sa corporate level, there are three types of asset: non-current, the current ones, and the quick ones. So quick are usually 90 days. So it includes 90-day commercial paper, money markets, and trading securities, which are highly liquid assets. Okay? But if will take 270 days para ma-encash, it is not quick asset anymore. Okay, so commercial papers are traded in money markets. Yes, ito na nga yun, yung mga stock market, yung mga ano ba kayong tawag? Mga index funds, ito yun, which is are highly liquid. Okay, but again, we consider it highly liquid if it is convertible to cash within 90 days. Commercial paper is a lower cost of source of funds than bank loans. It is usually issued at below the prime rate. So, okay. That's it for the chapter 2. So, siguro, bukas, I will let you know kung meron tayong quiz, but definitely our exam would be next week, 17. Okay, ang coverage is chapters 1 and 2. So, unfortunately, hindi natin na-discuss yung chapter 3, which should be part dapat nito. Kasi extension lang siya ng notes, kasi bonds payable to eh. Sayang. Anyway, okay, yun ang coverage na exam, chapters 1 and 2, liabilities and notes payable. Okay, questions? Okay, if wala, then that's it. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry, nag-overtime ako ng 5 minutes. Okay, see you tomorrow. I will let you know kung may quiz tayo. But see you next week para sa ating preliminary exam. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you po.